This is what it is, okay? I said empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Welcome to the 23rd episode of the Deployment Dojo. This is a live show where we introduce and discuss software installation topics using the WiX Toolset. I'm your host, Rob Mensching, and joining me again today is my very good friend and first student of the Deployment Dojo, David Edson. David, how are you doing?
Good.
Probably
nice
more questions. How is your kid doing? You feeling better? Everybody doing all right?
Yeah, I was one of those day or two old, you know.
Yeah, I understand. We missed you last week. I don't think this goes anywhere near as well without you.
I'm sure it doesn't. I'll go and give a thumbs down to the video a little bit later.
Hey,
No, just kidding.
I have enough trouble getting people just to show up. We don't need you down voting it.
I'm just kidding.
Anyway, I take that back. We have three people here. We have Bert, we have Miyoki, and we have Martin. You guys have become almost regulars. This is fantastic. I love it. Miyoki, I don't know how to say it. I'm just guessing. Not this episode, next episode, I think your topic gets in. So let's talk about what we're doing right here, right now. We're talking about shortcuts. And I introduced a shortcut last week. David, I know you watched that episode to kind of catch up with the shortcuts. Shortcuts, of course, being that thing you can click in the start menu and it launches your application. And we did that because we introduced the WinForms app. So I think we're going to pick up from there because if you watch that episode, there's a couple things that don't go quite right. And I want to dig into one of those things today, plus cover a part that I left out. That's probably the most useful part of an advertised shortcut. So I want to go back and kind of review what we did last time and then start taking out some of those things that were not quite done perfectly. Sound
Okay.
good?
Yep, sounds good.
All right. So let's go get into it. First things first, we're going to the code. And David, I think we've been getting the code from Visual Studio enough. You think we can check it into a final location and just build from there from week to week now?
Sure. Yep.
All right.
I think
Yeah, I think so. So this could be the last time, maybe not last time, but for a little while, we've done this enough. We're going to go hit clone repository. But on the last day, I want to point out something. I've been going in through here to pick the Deployment Dojo belt test, which is our application we've been working on. And I usually click this little code button and then grab this URL. Well, it turns out you don't have to. You can just grab this one right here. So this URL will work just as fine, which I thought was kind of cool.
Okay.
And when you do that, it tells you. So I'm going to put it in the Dojo source directory. All right. So we're going to have one directory. We're not going to have episode after episode. We're just going to put it in the source directory. And I just have to remember to create a branch inside this directory each time. All right. So it's going to be our last clone for a little while.
Okay.
Bring it up. Here we go. Let Visual Studio go off and get the code and open our solution, hopefully. There we go. I don't know if this is a new feature in Visual Studio, but they started opening that solution for you automatically when they see, oh, there's only one solution here. They open it inside your repository, which is actually a really nice feature. I appreciate that. I feel like it didn't do that before. But anyway, what do we have here? We have our package. That's where we're going to be doing most of our work. We have our console app and we have our Windows Form app. I want to show you something real quick on the Windows Form app. Last time I had a big hiccup trying to get the Windows Form app working. I sent the dev team off to go fix it. They have done that. Let me build it real quick. And it will pop up over here. And I just want to show you that I have written some reg keys, and now it actually reads the reg keys test, and it reads that valued customer reg keys so that you can see that, hey, the app actually does something now instead of being this big blank page. All right, so the dev team did a good thing. They fixed the application. Let's get into our project being started. All right, so one thing I forgot to do last time is you see this still says 21 because I forgot to update the build way back when. And we also need to update our sandbox. It's no longer episode 22. We're now in the source directory. So I won't have to do this from now on, David, because we'll have one stable location I'll be working from.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think that's going to be good. All right, so let's go ahead, and before I commit, I'm going to go to my main branch, create new branch, episode 23. Create it. Yes, please take all the changes I made thus far. Get changes. We're going to put in the, start episode 23, right? With the big thing being we have our version number here. So I'm hoping that this little commit, if you look in the repository, you'll see that commit as the first commit, and then we'll do our work, and then you'll see the final pull request come in. Hopefully that helps people follow along at home if they want to go into our repository and see the starting points for each episode. That's why I keep doing this. All right.
Makes sense.
Windows Form app is up. We now have our sandbox pointing to the correct location, and we should be building with the correct build number. All of that is good stuff. So let's go jump into the first thing. I'm just going to rebuild everything. I'm going to rebuild the whole solution. And then I'm going to bring up our sandbox. And I want to show you the thing that, it's not that I left out last time. It was just the thing that I didn't quite, I highlighted the advertising, and that's not really the main thing I wanted to show. What I want to show is, source, here we go. Dojo.wsb, bring up our sandbox. Here we go. Let's jump into the first thing I want to cover today. All right, so sandbox up. We have our nice clean build set up for 23. We're going to wait for it. Hopefully I got the directories all correct. There we go. We have a Dojo folder. We have an x86 folder. That all looks good so far. Into the belt test package. Bin x86 debug. This is the thing we just built, and we're going to install it. Go, go, go. We will see our directory is here with our two files, our console app and our Windows Form app. Real quick review from a couple weeks ago now. David, you saw this one. Console app 1.exe. If we run it, ta-da! It says standard console app to our valued customer. Those are the reg keys we wrote.
Right.
Remember all that? And
yes.
So we're done that. Okay. That's our console app. No big deal. The nice thing is it's in the path, so we don't have to come in here and double click on it, even though I'm here to look to see this. The big thing we did was we want to look at all of our apps, and we can see here's our deployment Dojo Windows Form app 1. Very unique name, but very descriptive name as well. It is a Windows Form app, and if we launch it, ta-da! It worked. And notice it has the same values, standard and valued, that the console app did. So, hey, look, we're reading the same reg key. Everything is working like we'd expect it to, right?
Right.
All right. So the thing that I glossed over in the last episode is that this icon is just a generic text icon. It's like that's not our app. That does not look like, hey, if you click on this, it's an app. That looks like the Microsoft Edge app. That's the Notepad app. This is, you're going to open a document, not open an app.
Right.
Right. So there's a problem with our shortcut. That's the second thing we're going to cover today. The first thing I want to cover today is I showed how you can advertise the MSI package. Why don't I go ahead and do that? I'm going to uninstall this. I'm going to go to the command prompt because this is an administrative thing. And the advertising is done for administrators that want to say, hey, there's a systems and Windows that you can advertise the app, and it will hook up and push out to all the people in your enterprise using Active Directory and things like that. So we can mimic that. If I go into the directory and I say MSI exec switch J, and then the belt test MSI package, and I think that's all I have to do. Yes, I think that's it. Okay, so what does this do? It's going to go through. Happens really fast. You notice how that progress bar just blinked?
Right.
All right. Now, if we go look at our directory, there's no deployment Dojo installed, right? Because we haven't installed it. What we've done is we've advertised it to our organization, said, hey, you could have this application. And you're like, well, but how do they know if it's not here? It's not here in add remove programs. Where is it? Well, it turns out it's right here in their start menu. When I uninstalled this one away, and now it's here. Watch what happens when I click the start menu, or the item from the start menu. Open the deployment Dojo. And yes, I noticed it's right here too, because it's remembered I've opened it once. All right, ready?
All
3,
right.
2, 1, click. Windows installer pops up, goes in, and it launches our app all in one go. So that shortcut is what we call an advertised shortcut. It is a magic shortcut that goes in and has the necessary information to tell the Windows installer, hey, please go get this application. And it allows, back in the days when we had not a lot of disk space, you could send out shortcuts to all of your customers and or all of your organization, and only those people that use the app would get it on their machine. Today, most people just put it all in the image and ship it out to everybody. So I don't know how popular advertising is anymore. If you're out there and you do IT and you've been following along, wondering how to build your own MSIs, hey, drop in the chat, let me know. So that's advertising. I went through all this really complicated thing and everybody's kind of like, well, that's nice, but does anybody really use this? And I can't even motivate it. But here's one that does work. This is the other big thing. The Windows installer will heal our app. What if I delete this app? It's gone. I deleted it. So what do we have to do? Like, what do we do here? Oh no, I can't launch the app. I have this shortcut. This shortcut is broken now, right? Like, oh no, what do I do? Well, if I click on it, the Windows installer will recognize that the file is broken, put it back, and then launch it for us. This is repair. This is what they call self-repair. Now that it's there, it just opens it faster, no Windows installer in the mix. All right?
Right.
Okay. So this is I don't know why I forgot this. This is the easiest and most useful example for using advertised shortcuts. And one of the reasons I like using advertised shortcuts over non-advertised shortcuts. And to remind everybody, how do you get an advertised shortcut? Let's go open and look at the code for our Windows Forms component. Shortcut advertise equals yes. That's it. You say advertise equals yes, and you put it right next to the file, and that is the file that it will launch. Okay?
Oh, okay.
All right, cool. So now by making an advertised shortcut, it will heal this file and then launch it for you automatically. All right. Now, the mechanics behind this, behind advertised shortcuts and the way they work, if we have time, we can go dig into some of the deep, dark secrets of the Windows installer. But the problem is that because it's advertised, it doesn't give us the right icon. And that's because of the way that the Windows installer stores this thing and points it at the Windows installer instead of your app. So the shell's like, well, I don't know what icon that is because it says it's the Windows installer. It's clearly not the Windows installer. I don't know what it's pointing at. So it can't guess what the icon is. So what we're going to do today is we're going to fix that problem. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Does it work even if you remove the installer file? Remove the installer file. Oh, so Miyoki wants to know, does it work if we remove the installer file? Okay, let's do that. So we're in this directory, right? We're going to move on to the next thing. So I'm just going to delete everything. Can I? I think I can. All right, I deleted the MSI right here. Okay. The MSI where we installed from is gone. The Windows Form app is gone. And when I go here, all apps, and I say, please do this, it says, hey, I need to know where that file is. Can you please give me the path to where that MSI was? So it knew that it was there, and now it needs to go and find the original source so it can put the file back on disk. Because the Windows installer does not keep a whole copy of your entire installation package scrolled away somewhere. It still needs to be able to go back and find the original source. The way this typically works, like in a network situation, is you have it like a network share, right? A UNC share that everybody can access and pull the app back down. That's the way it would typically work. And if you use Burn, which we'll talk about in the future, our bundling system, it also would allow us to do this. So you do still need to have some way of finding the application. All right. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Everything we've done makes sense. And the key problem that we need to solve right now is, oops, I didn't mean to click it, is the shortcut is busted. Let's go ahead and remove it real quick just to see that uninstall works even if we don't have the source. Ta-da, poof, folder all gone, everything cleaned up. All right, that's what I wanted to do. That was the first thing I want to talk about. With advertised shortcuts, you get self-healing repaired packages. All right, let's go create our shortcut icon. Okay, I have an icon. I put it somewhere on my computer, and I'm going to bring it and put it in my package. So I didn't have a pretty icon for the deployment dojo. I probably should do that, so I'm going to use the one that we have from FireGiant. So I have, FireGiant has a very nice, pretty icon. So I'm going to add it right here. And when I add it to this project, it brought it into this folder, right? So it brought it into the same belt test package folder. So if we look here in our folder, belt test package, you'll see that we now have our FG ICO. Have you ever seen an icon file, David? You ever opened it?
Yeah. I've seen them. I mean, I haven't really modified them or messed with them. You
can double click them and open them up inside Visual Studio and you can see them. The interesting thing about an icon that's more than just a bitmap or a PNG or a JPEG or whatever is it has multiple images in it at different sizes. And these sizes are the sizes that Windows expects to find them. So it can render them, you know, when you have details big or sometimes the icon is small, it can show you all of them in here. All right.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's why we have icons, is because if you look in Windows, we're going to see this. And if you only have the one image size, then Windows will like squish it for you. And of course, we had a designer do the work to make sure that this tiny little 16 by 16 actually still looks something like the corner of the FireGiant logo. All right, so when you're doing those kind of things, when you want to have many size images, icon files come up a lot. So how do we add an icon? Well, I mean, this isn't going to be terribly surprising. You'd say, what icon do you want? Now, this icon, and the documentation is going to be too small, says that it points at the icon element. You don't point at the file, you point at the icon element. So I'm just going to call this FG for now. And we're going to create an icon element here. And I'm going to name the ID the same as that ID, FG source file equals, and then what I call it, fg.ico. Since it's in my project folder, I could just refer to it by that name. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now there's a problem here. It's not going to be obvious, but I'm going to try to debug and see if, I'm going to try to bring it up and let's see if we hit the problem. In typical one step as we go. Oh, no, WiX is going to help me. It's going to tell me right off the bat. All right, so this error says the extension icon FG for this shortcut does not match the extension of the key file of the component, which was this thing, and which is not exe or ICO. The icon will not be displayed correctly. All right, so we're getting the error message that I was going to try to do the install anyway. So what this is saying is that the Windows installer wants this to match how you're using this shortcut. It wants the extension on the ID to match the thing that you're pointing at. So you have to call it .exe. The ID, okay? And this is really confusing, which is why I wanted to go over it. We have a source file on disk called fg.ico. We're going to bring it into the installer and store it as an icon. But when we do so, we need to name the ID inside the Windows installer in a way that matches the target that we're going to use it for, in this case, an executable.
Okay.
All right. This is a rule of the Windows installer. Again, given the way that they do, the way that they store these icons for advertisement, so that everything just works, they need that extension to match. Why? Because they said so. Is this something that they should have handled themselves? Yes, probably. Bob actually jumped in the corner and said one of the dumber rules. It is one of the dumber rules. So we have this rule that catches it and it tells us. All right, so now if I build, now that I've made it match fg.exe, it's going to look for the file here on disk. That's part of my package, so we're part of my project. Build that. Wait for it. Build started. Here we go. Let's watch this. And then it succeeded this time. All right, no errors. Okay. So what did this do? This took this icon file off the disk, shoves it inside my MSI file, and associates it with this shortcut such that when the Windows installer installs my shortcut, it'll say, hey, by the way, when you install this advertised shortcut, here's the icon that goes with it. And if everything worked, which we are going to go test now. Did it again. Oh, I'm in the wrong directory. Dojo, WSV. When we bring it up in the sandbox, hopefully everything worked and we will see the correct shortcut. All right, belt test package, bin, x86, debug, enus, belt test package. Installing. All right, we installed it. So our files are here, ready to go. And we go into our start menu, empty, click on all apps, and ta-da! Nice, pretty application or shortcut, right?
Right.
If I double click on it or single click it, I don't have to double click it. Ta-da! App launches. I suppose I could change the app on the icon too. I know how to do that in WinForms app. But anyway, so there we go. We have fixed our icon problem by saying that we want an icon on this shortcut and then creating that icon here and making sure the ID matches.
Yeah, little non-intuitive, but I get it.
Yeah, and fortunately the error messages lead you in the right direction because it won't tell you automatically. Now you could ask, why don't I just put this source file FGI code right here? You could, except that icons can get big, and quite often icons are shared across many different places. Like the icon, as you can imagine, Fire Giant, we use it in many places. So the Windows installer encourages you, forces you, to put it into a separate icon resource that gets stored once inside the MSI, and then you can use it in many different places.
Okay.
So that's why they create a reference to the icon instead of just saying, hey, just put the icon here and put the icon here and put the icon in here. So that is all of those things. Close that. And we are off the races. Ooh, Miyoki is asking about, what about the installer icon? All right, which is actually an interesting question. All right, I want to make sure that we have this down. This is what I wanted to cover today. Are there any questions about this part? I know it feels very simple, but I just want to jump over the hurdles here.
Right. No, I think I'm good to this point.
Yeah, I mean, you're like, so simple. All right, I want to show you. All right, we're going to sparring. Let's go jump in sparring because I have a couple things I want to do, and then we're going to take a swing at Miyoki's question at the end. So here we go, in sparring.
Sure.
Okay, so what are we doing here? We're going to start like swinging around. Now, remember when I said I can delete the Windows Forms app? Just delete it from the place where it was installed.
Right.
And then you come up here, and I can launch my shortcut. When installer comes up, it fixes it for me, and everything's awesome. Yay, yep. Very cool. I want to show you something else I could do. I can delete both of these. What do you think it's going to do here?
We should repair it, right?
Yeah, it's actually going to repair both of them.
Yeah.
Okay, now do you know why it repaired both of them? There's actually, this goes back to a thing we haven't talked about at all since the very beginning when we added them. So this is kind of a trick question. I don't expect you to know, but I'm like, you want to take a shot at it? What ties these all together? It's not the directory. It's the other thing that ties components together. We haven't talked about it since the beginning.
Just one of the elements in there?
The feature.
Oh, okay.
The fact that all of these guys are together in the same feature means they get repaired together. All right. So if you think of features as like units in the package that go together, you could think like the quintessential example is Office. You have Word feature, you have Excel feature, you have Publisher, Access, Outlook, so on and so forth, right? So if you have separate features for them, if Word is broken, when you click on the Word shortcut, it only repairs the Word stuff, and you don't have to repair the Outlook and the Excel and all those other kinds of things. Now in our case, we only have one feature that installs both the console and the Windows Form application. So when we repair, both of them get repaired at the same time. I've deleted them both again, launch this, do a repair. Do we want to prove it?
Yes.
Yes. You want to see, does that really, am I just making this up or does it really work, right? So main and main 2, the IDs of the features for right now don't matter. We're going to split them into 2 different features and just let it install. All right, we're going to blow up our sandbox, start over from scratch. We're going to rebuild our project, our solution, actually, go do the whole thing. So we're rebuilding everything. Get my sandbox ready to go here when the rebuild. Start it. Is it done? Oh, all succeed. All right, it was faster than I thought it was. I distracted myself trying to start the sandbox. It was so fast. Okay, here we go. Wait for it, wait for it. All right, new sandbox. Belt test is gone. Belt test. There's our folder. All right, belt test package, bin, x86, debug, enus, belt test package. All right, install. Ta-da, there it is in our deployment Dojo belt test. Refresh here, there's the belt test. All right, we know it's installed.
Right.
I'm going to delete the WinForms app right off the bat. We're just going to start with it gone.
Okay.
Just this one. All apps, launch it. Boom, Windows form app comes back. The real test. Delete both, right? What do we expect to happen now when I delete both?
Just the one's going to come back, right?
Yeah, the Windows form app is the only thing that should come back. Oh no, I'm wrong. Oh man, I lied. It could be because they're both top level features that they came back.
And you rebuilt it. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
I lied. I didn't mean to lie. Let me see if I can fix it. If I can regain my try. So top level features are a little bit unusual, which is part of the reason why in WiX we generally do this. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Name does not matter. One more try here. I do want to try to do Miyoki's question too, because it's a good question.
Okay.
I'm going to do a rebuild solution. I did do a rebuild all. I could delete the directories local. I'm pretty sure that would have deleted it. All right, let's try again. So what did I, sorry, real quick, what did I do? I created a main feature that has two child features in it. One is the console feature and one is the Windows form feature. So if you think of this as a tree, there's main with two children, console feature, Windows feature, and these are peers. Okay.
But okay, isn't it going to? Okay. Yep.
So I think I expect it to repair just the Windows form feature and the main feature, and not repair the sibling. And I
but
think
where did you have that advertise attribute at?
That's on the shortcut itself.
Okay.
To say this shortcut is advertised.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and bring the sandbox up. If this doesn't work, then I'm gonna have to go do some research and double remind myself where it is. To be clear, this was a bigger deal back in the day. Like Office had a lot of work around this because it was such a large application. And I mean, back in the day, we're talking 2000s, like 2000. And so people were trying to install Office and have people have access to Excel and Outlook, even if they didn't use it all the time, but not take the disk space. All right, so we're gonna see if this actually works this time. Okay, I delete the Forms app, and then we go, you know, I'm just gonna delete both. Let's see if it works first time out of the gate. All right, here's the moment of truth. Does it repair both? It still repaired both. All right, well then, call me a liar. I'm gonna have to go double check this because I was pretty confident that it would have only repaired one of the features. And I have to go figure out why it's repairing both.
Okay.
But I will have to go debug into that because it's gonna take a bit more than I want to do right now. Because right. Miyoki asked a fantastic question. Oh, Painter's asking something. Fast pain, generate void, advertised shortcuts, edge cases. Are there like repair? Are there good cases? Yeah, I still prefer advertised shortcuts. I think advertised shortcuts they work really well. And I like most of the repair functionality that comes with them. It makes things go better. Of course, I'm also quite often using a bundle. For the Office media to be inserted. Now, there's another thing that we're not talking about now because we're not talking about COM components. There are other ways that you can cause this sort of behavior to happen. This advertised behavior, this repair behavior in the Windows installer, not just shortcuts. Those other ones are a lot less certain. I think advertised shortcuts are good, but the other ones I don't recommend nearly the same. All right, so I'm only saying this about advertised shortcuts that I've found that they work really well. Okay, so my statement did not work, and I want to go figure out why, but I'm not going to bore you guys with all of that random investigations. I kind of scratch my head trying to figure out what's going on here. That's more of the let's code a full 90 kind of series, which we're definitely not doing now. But Miyoki asked a question. Did I close it? I closed the sandbox.
The installer icon.
The installer icon, right? Yes. So how do we do that? Well, it turns out that the Windows, we don't in WiX yet. We should, maybe WiX 5. We don't do anything to make this really clear, but there's a magical property, a documented property, it's not magical, called ARP install. Oh, I'm gonna have to look it up now. Install icon, I'm pretty sure. I think if I give it the name of the icon, I'm gonna have to go double check this here. Let's see, let's bring up our browser back up. And I'm going to double check this because was not prepared to do this. ARP install, Windows installer, ARP install location. Yeah, okay, that's pretty close to what I want. So yeah, ARP, that's install location. Sorry, I want icon. ARP product icon, not install. It's product icon. I knew install icon wasn't it. ARP product icon. Yep. So this is, as you can see, this is the Windows installer. Blow this up. This is a list of all these things you can configure in the add remove programs. And one of them is add remove programs. So it should specify the icon that shows up. I haven't tested this, so it can't go any worse than my statements about the way features worked with repair. So let's go ahead and rebuild.
Let's see what happens.
And let's see what happens. Because, hey, we're sparring. Anything can happen like that. The master gets tripped when doing battle. So here we go. Sandbox. All right. Let's talk about this icon. And this will be the thing where we finish today. I think this will be good. Unless you have any additional questions while we wait here.
Nope, just curious what this is going to do.
Yeah, all right. So we'll spread these out. Let's see. All right. Belt test, bin, x86, debug, enus. Ta-da! Oh, wait, that's not our icon. Why is that icon still that one? All right. And this is a logical mistake people make. The ARP product icon changes your icon in add remove programs. You cannot change this icon out here for the installer. This is always what an MSI package is going to be shown as. How do I options? I want to show. I don't fight this most of the time. I want to. How do I show hidden, display full path? Where's the hide extensions? Hide. Don't hide any of these things. Oh no. Okay, fine. There it is. So you can see this is an MSI file. MSI files are always going to have this icon on them. All right.
Right.
All right, so belt test package, launch it. Here we go. We get our location. We have it installed. And if I hit F5, if everything worked, ta-da, look, our icon is there.
Cool.
So this is the icon you can control. You cannot control the icon on the MSI file itself, but you can do this one. And is there a way for me to organize these layout? No. So this is an example, maybe. Here we go. Where, all right, look, so, okay, there's a small icon. I see, there's our larger icons. See how it starts using our icons, all those different sizes, the 256, 48, I think, 632, and then the 16, right? So you can see how it kind of jumps to the right sizes as it picks those. That's why you pick icons, because they can look really good at all these different sizes. Can you imagine what this little 16 would look like when you blow it up to here? It would definitely not look this nice, smooth kind of thing. So ARP product icon is the way to do that. And you point it at your icon element, which is right here. So it has the same name. So in this case, because this is called fg.exe, this is called fg.exe. And that's what connects the two of them. And this is something that honestly we've talked about in the past and just have never prioritized, but we probably should do something of, products, I don't know, whatever we call it, add, probably not this, but stuff, right? And then you could say icon equals that, whatever we name this element. So this WiX would give you a nice clean element, then you wouldn't have to remember what this property name is. Behind the scenes, we would of course generate this property inside your MSI. But anyway, we don't have this. This does not exist, so you have to do the low-level ARP product icon. And that's how you can change the icon in add remove programs. And you cannot change the icon out here.
Right.
Cool. All right, so that was kind of fun. Things to go wander around in. I want to take a real quick swing at this and see. I can't do it real quick. I want to get a verbose log for this and yada, yada, yada. I could try don't know if I'll get it. All right, it's going to repair both. I'm going to take a quick thing. This is just so people have an idea. This and the verbose logging is where I'm going to go next, because the Windows installer actually says, hey, I faulted these pieces in for you. I remember where it goes. Application logs, information. Yeah, so here's the Windows installer saying that it's doing work. And it did a reconfiguration, completed successfully, beginning, Windows, yeah. So here it is. Detection of this product feature. Windows form feature failed during request for component. So I know these are really small. It says the detection of this product, the feature, Windows feature, component, yada yada. The resource, this file does not exist. So there's in the event log, it will show you. And then in here, it'll say, hey, this feature failed during that. And then it goes and kicks off an install for that. And this is not going to tell me why it picked the wrong one. But this is a really nice way. If you start seeing the Windows installer pop up and you're surprised, like, why is it doing it? Your event log will tell you with these warnings, hey, this is why the Windows installer is popping things up.
Okay.
So, if you want to become an IT admin inside, there you go. And this is why I run it on a sandbox in case anything goes wrong, because I can close it and we're done. Poof. All right. So, this is the thing Miyuki asked for. This time, Miyuki asked for a different thing last time that we will cover. We're going to go play with another way of doing shortcuts that is not advertised. What if you do not want to use an advertised shortcut for whatever reason? And Miyuki has a very good reason. If you go back and watch that last show, that would be you could, we're basically going to go solve that question that was asked next time.
Okay.
All right. So there we are. I think we're done with episode 23. No, we're not done. We gotta finish. I should have been doing this while I was
committed.
I gotta commit. What am I doing here? What did I gotta grab this? All right, cool. Let's look at our changes here, Rick. Change to our project file. We added our icon file as a content. That's right, we did add icon. Save changes. Yes, save. Or no, wait. Did it? I don't want to save some of these. All right, let's actually look at the changes as we go. All right, this is why we look at it. Yes, we added this icon file, and here's the changes we made to the Windows form. We added icon and we add the icon, right? We added to shortcut, we added to that. That change looks good.
Right.
Let's look at our changes to package WXS. Right. This is me messing around with features and things like that. I don't want to keep any of that. We're not going to push that up. That is not part of this. All right. So episode 23, and eventually I'll come up with the standard syntax for this. What is it? Commit changes for episode 23. There we go. A less short look at our advertised shortcuts today. We'll go ahead and push this. Did that work? Yes. And it will let me create a pull request. That's a really nice experience of Visual Studio. Episode 23. And we'll put it down here. Ta-da! A less short look. Create our pull request. And we'll wait. It's going to go kick off a build for me. So I'm going to enable the auto merge, confirm the auto merge. And on that note, we're going to get ready to go. So we'll be back next week. We're going to talk about shortcuts a little bit more, a different way of doing the same thing. Well, doing the same thing, but similarly, but different. And we will pick up with the same directory. So we'll do our first refresh into the same directory. That'll be new, David, right?
Yep.
We'll bring the code right back down. I will go debug into the log file, tell you what I find out about this feature, if I can. And we'll be set up for next time. So
sounds good.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. All right, so until next week, you guys keep coding. You know we are. Bye.
That's it.